Wait, maybe that's what's missing from this show.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Fox 10 Talks. And now your host. More like the Ed McMahon.
Ten o'clock, Fox 10 Talks, Ron and Syleste. We are standing by. We're awaiting some kind of a new statement from the White House, so stay with us for that. Matter of fact, I got a live shot, Syleste. I'll just pop it up right now, and this is kind of what we're seeing there from the White House briefing room. You see Aisha Hasni, who does a great job covering it for Fox, so that may be an indication it could still be a couple of minutes before we actually see what's getting underway, but good morning.
I'm just adjusting my dress here.
Really? What's happening, Syleste?
Just had some stuff. I'm just getting settled.
Don't tell me you had a wardrobe malfunction. What's going on?
That has happened in the past.
Yeah.
Good morning, Ron. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to Fox 10 Talks.
Okay. So, boy, this story, Syleste, I mean, it's just getting so much talk.
Brother.
I mean, there are so many different angles. In a minute, we're going to tell you what the president has to say, what he's been posting about. Yeah. He also did that 60 Minutes interview. There's plenty to get into this morning, but at the same time, do want to mention that we have also coming up today on FTT, really good program for you over the course of this hour. Now they say that there's something else you should drink to start your day instead of coffee. Syleste, I'm afraid we're going to upset the apple cart for an awful lot of people.
I think so.
Huh?
Yeah, but it's something that is relatively inexpensive.
Yes.
and that can help keep you regular, if you know what I mean. So, maybe it's a good thing.
We're all in favor of keeping people regular. This new trend for summer vacation as airline costs are soaring, to me, is really interesting. So we are going to be all over that. In fact, Syleste and I have dug into it so much that we have recommendations for you. It's a trend, but sometimes a trend can leave you wondering what to do. Well, we've got the answers.
That's correct.
Coming up just a little bit later. Oh, and then the other thing I was going to mention is the mother-in-law who's now involved in the thermostat argument.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if there's a household in America where the husband and the wife don't want different temperatures.
Oh,
and sometimes it can be a little bit of an issue.
I like it a little bit cooler at night.
Do you?
Yeah.
What, does Gary want to run the heater? What's happening?
Well, he likes it right around 72,
okay.
which is normal.
Yeah, but what do you, you're more of a 68?
I am. Just in the evening hours. I mean, it's less expensive, so
Correct.
I'm not saying we have to raise the...
Well, I have a feeling he's looking at it and saying, honey, did you see last month's power bill?
That's exactly what he says to me. And then our teenagers, like, he walked in the house and he's like, what? Why is it like an icebox in here?
I know. Okay, so all of that's coming up. We're sure glad you're hanging out with us here on FTT. One last thing. We got a great poll question getting lots of traction. There's a report that Iran has now proposed opening the Strait of Hormuz and doing the nuclear negotiations later. 24% are saying do it, get the oil flowing, negotiate the bigger deal later. Oop, numbers moving around. The other, lot of votes for don't do it. The blockade's putting the pressure necessary on Iran. Keep it up. So you can grab the QR code and let us know what you think about that. In the meantime, let's talk about Saturday night. It was kind of a surreal situation, Syleste, because it went for, you could hear the band was still playing while people were yelling, get down. And Melania was actually right there at the top of the table, at the top of the dais. And you could see her mouthing, what is happening?
Yeah, it was so frightening.
The comedian, I think, was talking with the president, so he was a little bit more engaged. Oh, that news conference getting going. Let's go live to the White House. Here you go.
The United States and the United Kingdom. As I told many of you on Friday afternoon, I thought that would be my last time taking your questions until after my maternity leave. But given the attempted assassination of the president and, quote, top Trump administration officials, as the depraved shooter noted in his manifesto at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday evening, I felt it was prudent to be here today to answer your questions and inform the American people about how the administration is responding to yet another attempt on President Trump's life. Saturday was supposed to be a joyful evening celebrating free speech and the First Amendment with all of you, members of the press. Instead, the night was hijacked by a crazed anti-Trump individual who traveled across the country to assassinate the president and as many administration officials as possible. This is the third major assassination attempt against President Trump in 2 years. No other president in history has faced such repeated, serious attempts on his life. First and foremost, the president, the first lady, and everyone in this White House are extraordinarily grateful to the brave law enforcement professionals who sprang into action to apprehend the would-be assassin and keep all of us safe. The president would especially like to express his gratitude to the men and women of the United States Secret Service who acted with the utmost professionalism, courage, and sense of duty. This includes the heroic agent who took a bullet to the chest. Thankfully, he was saved by his bulletproof vest. Minutes after returning here to the White House to the Oval Office, despite fighting Secret Service to try to stay and keep the dinner going on Saturday, ahead of addressing you here in the briefing room, President Trump was intent on speaking to this brave agent to ensure he was okay. And the agent assured the president that he was. As you know, I was seated next to President Trump and the First Lady when the shots were fired before Secret Service swiftly moved us to safety backstage. The president's calm in the face of chaos, while yet another individual was trying to take his life, was really remarkable to witness, and it's something I will never forget. President Trump is fearless because he loves this country, and he is willing to put his own life on the line to deliver on the promises that he made to the American public who elected him here into the highest office in the land. And while we are blessed to have a fearless president, we should not live in a country where such constant fear of political violence permeates our society every single day. We can and we should have fierce disagreement in this country. As you all know, we disagree often, myself in this role and all of you in the news media. But those disagreements must remain peaceful. Debating, peaceful protesting, and voting are how we need to settle disagreements, not bullets. Nobody in recent years has faced more bullets and more violence than President Trump. This political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat Party, and even some in the media. This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment. Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence. The left-wing cult of hatred against the president and all of those who support him and work for him has gotten multiple people hurt and killed, and it almost did so again this weekend. When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social media and hear in various forums every single day? The answer, if you're being honest with yourself, is that there is no difference at all. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many. For example, as the First Lady of the United States pointed out this morning, just 2 days prior to the shooting, ABC's late-night host Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband? And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the First Lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night. As President Trump said on Saturday night at this podium, we as Americans must recommit ourselves to resolving our differences peacefully and uniting around the shared values that make our country great. The deranged lies and smears against the president, his family, his supporters have led crazy people to believe crazy things, and they are inspired to commit violence because of those words. It has to stop. And one more point. Saturday night served as yet another reminder of how important it is to fund the Department of Homeland Security. It is shameful that the United States Congress has kept this vital agency defunded for 73 days, the longest shutdown of a federal agency in U.S. history. The Secret Service is a vital component of DHS. It has been directly impacted by this reckless political gamesmanship. Everyone in this room who was there on Saturday night witnessed the heroes of Secret Service and federal law enforcement jump into action in the face of grave danger and uncertainty. Agents put their own lives in harm's way to protect the president, the First Lady, the Vice President, and members of the cabinet. One agent can be seen in video footage literally jumping onto the stage, not knowing where the attacker was or where the bullets were coming from at that point, to place his body in front of the President of the United States. These men and women are heroes. They perform their duties daily, and they have children and families too. And they do it despite the political turmoil surrounding their agency. Make no mistake, this defunding of DHS should be a national scandal. If Republicans defunded DHS and we saw another attempted assassination on a Democrat president, I would hope that the media coverage would be relentless and unforgiving, and I hope that it continues to be now. With the World Cup, America 250, the 2028 Olympics, and a presidential election all ahead, the Democrats' obstruction is placing an enormous and totally pointless burden on the Secret Service that can get more people killed. Enough is enough. There should be no further debate about this. Democrats need to do what President Trump has been calling on them to do for 73 days in a row, grow and fund the Department of Homeland Security, period. This is a national emergency, and every member of Congress needs to put their country over party and get the Department of Homeland Security funded. With that, I will take a few of your questions today. Daniel, thank you for being here. Why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Caroline. The president, Saturday after the assassination attempt, came here. He emphasized that law enforcement did their job, keeping everyone safe at the dinner. House Speaker Mike Johnson came out and said he believes the president needs greater protection. What is the White House's message to the millions of Americans who wake up here today nervous, uneasy about the safety of the president at events like this and the safety of other cabinet members?
Well, we certainly understand their fears and their worries. As you heard from the president himself, he continues to have trust in the United States Secret Service. As I just said, these are great men and women who are doing their jobs and performing their duties honorably. As we all witnessed on Saturday evening, within minutes, the president, the first lady, the vice president, members of the president's cabinet were ushered out of the room. The perpetrator who sought to inflict massive harm, as we all now know, with the release of the manifesto on administration officials and the president himself, was stopped at the security perimeter that was set up. He tried to charge through it, as you saw on video, and he was quickly neutralized by Secret Service, and thank God that he was. With that said, obviously, the White House is always asking the tough questions and ensuring the safety of the president. I understand there will be a meeting early this week convened by the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, with top DHS leadership, members of the United States Secret Service, and our own operations team here to ensure the safety and the security of the president, as we do have many of these major events moving forward. So we're always monitoring operations and procedures, always asking the tough questions to ensure the president is safe, and the American people should be assured there's no higher priority for the president and his staff than the president's safety.
Caroline, Friday you said that you thought that gaggle out of the sticks would be your last one for your baby. Back in 2024, when the president had the attempt on his life in Butler, you cut your maternity leave short back then. You're obviously back here today after Saturday. Can you just elaborate a little bit why you felt it was important to be here to bring to the media and talk to the American people from the stand?
Sure. It's sort of crazy timing when you put it that way for both children with 2 assassination attempts against the president. I'm honored to work in this job. I view this job as the president's spokesperson and the White House spokeswoman as public service. It's not just any job. I'm honored to do it, and I'm honored to work and speak on behalf of President Trump, who has faced unprecedented adversity and challenges, and I'm honored to work for him. And again, as I witnessed on Saturday night, just his dogged resolve and determination to get back onto the stage, and he was pushing Secret Service and law enforcement to allow him to address, and that really, I think, hopefully gives the country the type of strength that we need. And I certainly know, as his spokeswoman, and I can speak on behalf of all of the staff here at the White House, the president inspires all of us to just keep going and keep fighting every day.
Thanks, Caroline.
Thanks, Daniel, and congrats to you on your new baby. He's beautiful. Aisha.
Just from the rhetoric, you mentioned the First Lady and Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's comments were, "Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow." And he said this days before the shooting, but there does seem to be a normalization of rhetoric about assassinating this particular president. How can this administration try to put an end to this?
Well, I think you heard it directly from the president on Saturday night, Aisha, that in his words, we need to recommit ourselves as a country to toning down the rhetoric and to unifying around what makes our country great. That's true of everyone who works in this White House, but as I said, it's also true of everyone who has a voice and a platform across this country, whether you're on television, a podcast host, people listen. And when you have mentally disturbed individuals across the country who are listening to this crazed rhetoric about the president day after day after day, it inspires them to do crazy things. And unfortunately, it's not just the media, it is the entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler. I mean, these are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years, and so many mentally perturbed perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month said, "We are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time." Governor Josh Shapiro said heads need to roll within the administration. Senator Alex Padilla said people are, quote, dying because of fear and terror caused by the Trump administration. Senator Elizabeth Warren, President Trump is making the country look like a, quote, fascist state. Senator Adam Schiff saying President Trump using a dictator playbook. Senator Ed Markey calling President Trump a dictator, saying that this administration's actions are authoritarianism on steroids. Governor J.B. Pritzker, never before in my life have I called for mass protest disruptions. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. You have Rep. Presley saying, "We'll see you in the streets." Rep. Monica McIver, a Democrat representative on Capitol Hill, "We will not take this shit from Donald Trump. He thinks he's a dictator. We are at war." These are Democrat elected officials calling for war against the President of the United States and his supporters. I could go on and on, but again, when you have people in positions of power that are saying things like this every single day for years, you are inspiring violence by people who are already mentally ill. And that's what we've seen against this president for far too long.
This is disinformation and misinformation online. There will be bite-sized clips that will go viral to the point where there are Americans in this country that believe that what happened Saturday night was staged. How does this White House tackle that with social media companies out there, whether it's X, Facebook, Instagram? How do they work with these companies to make sure that doesn't get out of control?
It's certainly a good question, Aisha. I don't have tangible answers for you on what we're doing with social media companies, if anything at all. What I will say is it's very important to us that we get the truth and the facts about this case and any case out there as quickly as possible to dispel some of that crazy nonsense that you do see running rampant online. And I think the Department of Justice and the FBI thus far have done a good job of disseminating the truth and the facts about this alleged attempted assassin, the perpetrator in this case, and I understand he'll be arraigned in court very soon. You all see that, and the Department of Justice will be giving a briefing and an update later today. So as far as we're concerned, just providing maximum transparency, and hopefully people will believe the truth rather than the lies and the conspiracies that so often do go crazy on social media.
Caroline.
Rachel.
Thanks, Caroline. Does the administration view this as a security failure, or did the protocols work as they were designed?
The president has said he believes that the protocols worked. Again, you had a perpetrator who tried to breach the security parameter that was set up by Secret Service, and he was running as fast as he could and was immediately neutralized moments later. And again, having been right up there on the stage with the president and the first lady, I can tell you it was seconds before we were told to get down, and it was seconds before we found ourselves in the hold room backstage. It all happened literally within a matter of seconds. The president, the vice president, and the first lady being pulled to safety. That is not done if there's a lapse. So Secret Service did their jobs well. They communicated with one another to remove the president and the vice president to safety as quickly as they could, and obviously to neutralize the shooter as well. And thank God they did, because if that man was allowed into that ballroom, it would have been a much different scene.
And just one more follow-up on just how the White House could be rethinking security protocols going forward. I mean, we all remember after the attempted assassination in Butler, there were indoor rallies that were held after that. Is that out of the question, changing any additional security protocols when it comes to how the president does these events that are outside of the White House?
I definitely wouldn't say changes are out of the question. I think, again, that it's up to the White House here, and we view it as a great responsibility to ensure the maximum safety of the president and the vice president and the entire cabinet. And so we're always looking for ways to improve security. I think if you just sit here and say everything is perfect all the time, that's not a good way to operate. And so the White House will continue to engage with DHS and with Secret Service to find ways to improve and strengthen security. But as far as Saturday night is concerned, the president was satisfied with the response, and he's very grateful to the men and women who provided the response for him and his wife and members of his team.
Caroline.
Deanne.
Thanks, Caroline. The president has talked about rescheduling the dinner within 30 days. Does he have a specific venue in mind, and would he consider hosting it at the White House?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have a room big enough here at the White House, which is another point to be made, and the president is absolutely right. It's why the White House Ballroom project is not just a fun project for President Trump, like you will read in the media. It is actually critical for our national security that a larger, secure building on this complex, which is the most secure complex in the world, is built to accommodate not only large amounts of guests, but also the president, the vice president, members of the cabinet. The line of succession in this country should be able to gather freely in safety without the fear of threats or political violence, and the White House Ballroom will provide that, and so it's critical that we get this project done as quickly as possible.
And then Ron as well. Caroline,
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions, if that's all right. First, on the security situation on Saturday, kind of a follow-up here. Previous administrations have sent both the president and the vice president to the dinner, but after the foiled attack on Saturday, if the dinner is rescheduled, would President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance both plan on attending? And is it wise to have both of them in the same spot, given the presidential line of succession that you mentioned a second ago?
It's definitely a good question, and I know that it's one that will be raised. I can assure you the president intends to attend the event, as he has told all of you publicly. I don't want to rule in or out the vice president's attendance, but certainly that's a conversation that will take place.
And Iran has proposed a mutual reopening of the Strait, leaving the nuclear discussion for later in the process. Given that the nuclear program has been a red line for this administration, would the president agree to that kind of phased negotiation?
Well, only because it's been reported. I will confirm the president has met with his national security team this morning. The meeting may be ongoing, maybe not. I don't want to speak affirmatively because I was prepping to come out here, but the proposal was being discussed. I don't want to get ahead of the president or his national security team. What I will reiterate is that the president's red lines with respect to Iran have been made very, very clear, not just to the American public, but also to them as well.
So they're considering it.
I wouldn't say they're considering it. I would just say that there was a discussion this morning that I don't want to get ahead of, and you'll hear directly from the president, I'm sure, on this topic very soon.
I'm going to ask you about the Fed chairman, but first, 3 assassination attempts in 3 years. Is this going to change the type of events that the president goes to?
Well, again, that's going to be part of the conversations moving forward. But as you heard from President Trump, he does not want these deranged lunatics and these grave acts of political violence to change our American way of life. And I think it's a very brave thing for him to say. It'd be very easy for him to just hunker down here at the White House where he knows he's safe. But the president wants to be out across the country. He wants to go across the country to meet with Americans. He wants to celebrate the 250th birthday of our nation's anniversary this summer. As you know, we're gearing up for a big UFC fight here on the South Lawn. So there's many exciting events I know the president wants to be part of and will be part of moving forward. He's undeterred in that way, and it's something that inspires all of us here to keep going.
Senator Tillis is now dropping his objection to allowing Kevin Warsh to be confirmed because the DOJ has closed their investigation. Is the president satisfied that an inspector general report into the Federal Reserve is enough to look into these renovations?
The president understands that the inspector general has greater tools at their disposal, perhaps even more powerful than a grand jury, to continue investigating the financial mismanagement of the Fed building, which is a priority for the president. Look, he's a builder himself. When he sees something has a lot of cost overruns, is taking too long, and in this case ripping off the American taxpayer, he wants to get to the bottom of it. I understand Senator Tillis put out a statement saying he'll support Kevin Warsh's confirmation. That has been our position all along from day one. He is more than qualified for the job, and we look forward to working with the Senate on his swift confirmation process. Megan.
As a follow-up on Warsh, will the president be satisfied once the Fed's inspector general finishes that investigation, even if it finds no evidence of wrongdoing?
Well, that's a hypothetical question. I'll let the president speak on it when we see the results. It's obviously far too early to say.
And relatedly, as a follow-up, now that it looks like Warsh will be confirmed by the end of Jay Powell's term, is he still considering firing Jay Powell if he stays on as governor after that?
I haven't talked to him about it specifically, but I think the president will be satisfied once Kevin Warsh is confirmed as the Fed chair, which he should be.
Karen. On Iran, the president had said last week that the U.S. has started the process of clearing the Strait of Hormuz of mines. Do you have an update on how many have been removed and an estimate of how long that process could take?
I don't, but I would defer you to the Pentagon on that. We'll make sure they get you an answer, Karen.
It's an ongoing process, though. It's still actually happening right now.
Again, I would defer you to the Pentagon on anything with respect to clearing mines in the Strait of Hormuz.
I know that you said that the White House is reviewing the security protocols for things that could be done differently in the future. Have you identified anything so far that you would like to see done differently, or ask the Secret Service to make any changes in the security protocols for the president, particularly at these large events that are taking place off the White House campus?
Not yet, no, but as I said, there will be a meeting here at the White House in the earlier half of this week, so those conversations will take place.
And on the line of success...
And I would also just add, look, the Secret Service does not detail their procedures or operations to the public for obvious reasons, because you have crazy people who try to hijack them and get around them. So these conversations will take place in private, but if adjustments need to be made to protect...
All right, so we will continue to monitor the statements coming out of the White House, but for now, we're up against a break, Celeste, so you know what I'm thinking we ought to do?
I think we ought to do the mystery camera.
We always do the mystery cam for you. Give us your guesses. We'll be back with Fox 10 Talks next, and you can watch this White House stream on YouTube. All right, so we welcome you back now to Fox 10 Talks. It's Ron and Celeste, and where is this pretty little town,
Wow.
Celeste?
Okay, so this looks like some sort of little main street.
Yes.
It's very green.
Right. They have an outdoor cafe. Is that what I'm seeing there?
Look at those tables.
They put 3 planters out, and they gobbled up 2 valuable parking spaces. I think that building, the 2-story red brick building, I think it's called Duke's. But I'm betting there are tons of towns that have a Dukes.
I'm going to
I don't know if that's a
I'm
good
going to go
one.
with like New York.
Oh.
I like the idea, like an upstate New York. I love upstate New York. It's so green and hilly and
Yes,
beautiful.
true.
I don't know if it's warm enough to look like this there, but
Okay.
I feel like a lot of restaurants in New York did that, where they took up the parking spaces during COVID.
Good thinking,
And
Celeste.
so I'm going to go with New York. What are you going to? Everybody at home?
Yeah,
thank
we're
you for
seeing
guessing.
some Arkansas, some
Alabama.
Virginia, Bama. I like to go with Linda, and she's saying Virginia. In fact, Paul Humphrey's saying Virginia too. In fact, Dave's camp. I'm going to go Virginia.
Wow.
A lot of our regulars like
They're-
Virginia.
They do. And Darla says Maine. She's going to go with Maine.
Oh, way to go, Darla.
Here's your correct.
Okay.
Leonardtown, Maryland.
Oh, is that right? Leonardtown?
Leonardtown. I wonder
I'm
who
gonna have to
Leonard
go.
is.
Yeah.
Leonard, Mr.
I
Leonard.
know he's got himself a town. How about that? All right, Celeste, you are familiar with the story about the debate over the thermostat.
Yes.
And you already said you like to run it at 68 at night, and a couple of our commenters were like, whoa, that's freezing cold.
I know. And then I like lots of blankets. But I will say, as soon as I wake up, I put it back up to like 78-ish because...
From 68 to 78?
Yeah.
Gary's going to be having hot flashes, and he won't know why.
He's going to be like, is this menopause? What's happening? But I think it's because then your house stays cool because it's the morning.
Yes.
And then throughout the day, it might warm up a little bit. And then at night, I put it down again. And it's less expensive. We're on that plan.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know, with APS.
The APS. We're on the same thing with SRP. Well, here's the story in a nutshell.
Okay.
A Reddit user's getting traction, revealing that every summer she and her husband spend 2 weeks at his mom and dad's.
Yes.
But they keep the summertime temp as a cost savings at 80 degrees. She says it makes it very hard for her to sleep at 80,
really
which is warm. She told her hubby starting this year, she's staying home and he can go to mom's. Do you have a side to choose on this? I want to get.
I think I would still go to mom's.
I want to get everybody's reactions to this.
Yeah, no kidding. Would you
She's
stay
like,
home or
she's okay. We can go there, but we're going to stay in a hotel. Now, I have a suggestion, which is just be upfront and say, look, she's sweating her brains out.
Yeah.
So we thought, and you're only doing it to save money. So we thought we'd kick a little bit into the kitty for your power bill for the month of July.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Put in an extra $50.
Maybe it has more to
something.
do with, though, that mom likes it warmer. Like, I remember going to Gary's when his great aunt, God bless her, she lived to 103.
Okay.
And her house was always very warm.
Yeah.
And she was
Up in
older.
Edmonds, up in the Northwest?
That was his grandma, but his great aunt, she was in Los Angeles, right by UCLA and
can get
Westwood.
hot, yeah.
But her home was so warm. And it was because she just liked it warm. She was older.
Older people do like it warmer.
And she had lots of blankets, but still in a warm house.
That's why we have all these snowbirds here, because they like the warmer weather.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. We would love to get your comment on that. Like Darla's like, Celeste, me too. I don't like that cold, but 70 or 72 is what you got to sleep at.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Darla.
This other story to me is really interesting. We want to get your take on this one as well, because the Airbnb is noticing a great big shift. Look at that guy. Look how comfy he is on an old log cabin porch.
I bet it smells good in there.
They say that people are opting not for the bigger cities and the fancier vacations because airfares are up like 20%. And so they're going to small towns. And Airbnb just came out with their list, I guess, over the weekend of 20 lesser-known destinations across the USA. And Celeste, Snowflake made it. Beautiful Snowflake, which people don't know, but they have a bunch of old Victorian homes that are super cool. I mean, Snowflake is, it's really, really great. But Celeste and I said to ourselves, okay, if that's the new trend, in what way can we be of service to you guys?
Yes.
And so this is what we came up with. We have suggestions. Hold on. That's Graphics 5. Hold on. Here we go. Okay.
Ron.
Look at me hanging out with James K. Polk.
So, what type of bow is Polk wearing? Are you thinking of putting that one on too?
Sure. I left it on our most underappreciated president, by the way.
Poor guy.
Arizona would have been part of some other country if it wasn't for James K. Polk, the 11th president. Anyway, it's all in Rapid City. They have statues of every single president. So, Glenn, I'm going to punch up Graphics 6 now, which is the storefronts. Or wait. There we go. There we go.
Wow.
It's Rapid City, South Dakota, and it's a super cool downtown.
It's really cool. It almost looks a little like Prescott, like the downtown Prescott area, but you don't get this in Prescott.
You're 45 minutes away from Mount Rushmore.
That is amazing.
You could build a whole vacation around the Black Hills of South Dakota, and Rapid City's not the biggest city in the world, but it's a nice little small town place to hang out.
And you and John Netzel have a great American story on Mount Rushmore, right?
Yeah, we do. Oh, wait a sec. What's this?
He did include this. This is fine, Ron.
Okay.
So we're talking about small towns, and this is upstate New York.
Okay.
This was when Kai was 12. We went to Cooperstown.
Oh,
and
was that amazing?
Yeah.
I want to go.
It really was really amazing. And there's something about small town America. Like, people think of New York and you automatically think of maybe Albany or Niagara Falls or
Schenectady.
Or the big Skitty.
Schenectady, the big skitty.
The big city.
Yeah.
But we of course, we thought we would do, he threw both of them in there. So I have two ideas for you.
All right.
If you want to do something locally, because prices are so expensive to actually get out and fly to New York to go to a small town up there. We loved Bartlett. We love Bartlett Lake. And our kids, we raise them there. And you can actually you can rent one of their houseboats that's on the water for pretty inexpensive. Spend a day on the lake and have fun with your kids. And you can camp and you can do all that fun stuff.
Brilliant.
Pretty good. Like, it's a budget deal.
Let's do this. Let's go straight to Eric Wilson with TMZ. Now, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Probably has a small town somewhere in America that he loves as well, because that's the big talker today, where Airbnb says skip the big cities, go to the small town.
I've actually done 5 cross-country road trips from Philadelphia to LA and back a few times. And I'm always driving, and that's like where my head is most of the time. It's like, what's going on in these little towns that we just drive past and see and never think to stop? And I bet there's a lot of them out there that have these great Airbnbs and little spots to vacation.
Have you ever stopped in one or had grabbed lunch somewhere and you're like, this seems like a cool spot? Eventually maybe I'll come back and take a look or something.
I tried to stop at major cities just because you never, also on the other hand of that, you don't know who lives in these small towns, so you never know what kind of trouble you might roll into. So I tried to just play it safe and stick to Amarillo and, Phoenix and Albuquerque and, that route.
Well, you can't go wrong with Amarillo. Hey, let's get to our main topics here today, which is, what is this? Melania Trump, I guess, posted something about Jimmy Kimmel. We already know there's been a squabble between the president and Jimmy Kimmel, but what's this all about?
Yeah, so this is a new response based on a segment that Jimmy did last week on his show, where he gave a fake White House Correspondents Dinner speech as if he was the host of the dinner. And in it, he said that Melania has the glow of an expectant widow. Now, he means because Trump is old, Trump isn't the healthiest guy, and that he thinks Melania, married for money or the age gap, that kind of stuff. But Melania and the Trump administration is seeing it as, something that led into or even possibly caused what happened this weekend with the attempted assassination of the guy at the hotel during the Correspondents' Dinner. So she's asking again for ABC to remove Jimmy from the network. She's saying that he's protected by the network, but she's imploring them to stop this because his words are corrosive.
Yeah, well, he maybe had a different meaning, but it didn't age well.
No.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
And especially even given the fact that he's had 2 attempts on his life, maybe it's not the best to joke about this particular president, or any president really, dying, given all the backlash he got from the Charlie Kirk stuff and things like that. So I defended, Jimmy on the first, the Charlie Kirk situation, but this one, it's hard to defend.
Yeah, for sure.
Regardless of his media.
Especially, considering the history.
Yeah.
But, ever since you guys launched TMZ DC, we're fascinated by it.
Yeah.
And I do think it's pretty interesting that you asked the question. Obviously the dinner was interrupted. Apparently there was a kind of a squabble between the president's Secret Service. He's like, no, I want to keep going. I want this dinner to continue. Yeah. But it never did. And then the question was, well, what about all the food?
Yeah, so our intrepid reporters from Team DC, Charlie Cotton, our co-managing editor down there, he's asking all the important questions while he's out there, including what happened to the lobsters and filet mignon. Filet mignon was also on the menu as well. 2,600 patrons. We have to think at least half of that in lobsters. Where did they all go? So he perused the dumpsters outside the Hilton. He could not find anything, and then we got a statement this morning saying that they donated to local food banks and that some of the vegetables were turned into compost and donated to local agricultural centers and farms.
Wow.
So it doesn't seem like it's going to waste, but then again, if this gets rescheduled, then we have 2,600 other lobsters that could be fighting for their lives as well.
Eric, there was this photograph.
Lobsters fighting for their lives.
Yeah.
Good luck on that.
We were just chatting about the guy that was sitting at the table, and even in the midst of everything happening, he didn't get up. He's like, I'm staying here and I'm finishing my salad.
Yeah, we actually did a full interview with him this weekend on the website if you want to go check that out. That's a man who doesn't fear much, obviously, because he still went in on the salad. So that full interview is on our website right now.
I love that guy. Yeah, maybe. I love that he said, look, I'm old. If I go down on the floor, I'm probably not getting back up.
Yeah, a lot of people stealing the wine and the champagne bottles from the table. People
Is that
people
true?
left with some goodie bags for sure.
I heard that as a rumor. Is that really true? Some people were running
there's
out
video
of
of people,
the wine?
leaving with the bottles.
Wow.
We don't know if they donated them when they left the building, but they definitely left with them.
And the crazy thing is when you're dressed in like a nice evening gown, a lot of times your purse is like a small little clutch.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
And so you don't have like a woman. You're not carrying in a big tote where you can stick stuff in.
It was a bunch of guys.
So
I'm just betting.
Bottles under arms.
I'm betting. Come on.
It was actually everything I've seen was actually the women doing it.
Oh, was it really?
And it was probably like Black Friday. Like,
there you go. Right.
Yeah.
All right. You sick TMZ DC on that story for your next report.
That's what we're working on. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Always great, Eric. Yep.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay. Oh, it's so fun talking to him, isn't it?
Great. All right.
Look at this.
We're going to leave you with this gorgeous shot of snow coming down.
And then we'll come right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm going to have to touch base with Gene Fazzini because there are still places in America, Syleste, where it's plenty snowy. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing it might be up in the Sierra Nevada, up there,
probably.
Between California and Nevada.
Ron, that you know where this is, and there's like no visibility. You're like, I recognize those rocks. They're part of the...
Sure. One time when I pulled over...
I have it's like you have like a geology degree.
Well, there's a new game that in our family thread people are playing every day. It's called MapQuest.
Oh.
And you get 5 chances to pick a city somewhere in the world. And they always start off with like, Albuquerque. Who's not going to get that? But then the next one is in Zanzibar.
Oh, wow.
And you're like, wait a minute, where's Zanzibar?
Before you know it, the kids in your family are going to end up on the geography bee. You're a national winner.
It's who, Dave?
Joe
Walker Town, California. We're having all these towns named after people we don't know. Joe Walker Town. Okay, well, there you go. Believe me, it's not down in the Bay Area. It's up in the mountains, like I was guessing, Syleste.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, let's talk about a couple of stories. Then we have one of our favorite guests joining us here. And we start with this bed stacking story. So what is bed stacking? Syleste, why don't you just explain it? Because it was your story of the day.
It was.
Yeah.
And share in the chat, by the way, Sammy G, Darla, let us know this morning, Louis Gonzalez, what your thoughts are on this. Dave's Can't Beat Adventures. Good to see you guys in the chat. Okay, the idea is like this woman right here.
Yeah.
They stack everything on their nightstand.
Okay.
So books, lotions, they have their phone.
Mail.
Notes.
Yeah.
Everything. I have to share that I kind of do this to a certain extent. Because once I go to bed, I don't want to have to get up to take my nighttime vitamins.
Oh, so you keep your
vitamins
various
on
pills.
my nightstand.
Okay.
And I've started using a pill box, but sometimes they still wander there.
Ooh.
And so, or like a night cream, or like a hand cream, or lotion, or something.
Can't you just put the night cream on before you go to bed?
Well, I don't want to put it on my feet because then I'm going to be walking around.
Oh, yes, which makes it slippery.
Yes, I don't want to get
could have an incident.
We don't want any incidents, Ron. But apparently a lot of like young adults and teenagers are doing this whole stacking situation.
Bedtime stacking.
Yeah, and
okay.
even put snacks.
Snacks.
Yeah, I don't think snacks are a good idea.
You know what? Let's get an opinion here from somebody. We could give you our opinion all day long, but, we're no experts. Mona Amini is here again. Hi.
Good morning. Hi, Mona. Nice to see you. Happy Monday.
Okay, we love when you come visit us. What about this bed stacking?
I am not a fan of it. Like many trends, it doesn't necessarily mean it's great for us, right?
Yes.
So I think that having lotions, maybe your vitamins, maybe having them in a pill organizer would be great, just so that you know exactly which ones are your nighttime meds or vitamins. But my issue is the electronics and the snacks and the things that are actually going to wake you up a little bit and give you a little bit more activation and are completely blue light emitting. They're not going to help you get relinquished and rested for the night to get relaxed. It's more like it's another extension of a couch to me. So, and the bed needs to.
What way do you think we need to have our devices?
I love telling my patients to have it in their bathrooms or away, like another out of the bedroom. And if you can get a digital clock with the old school alarms or something like that, that's ideal. Right. They have better ones now. They have like white noise and beautiful lights.
The old wind-up clock.
Yeah, I remember those too.
The funny thing is, there are so many husbands watching right now who are laughing because they're saying, I could try that for one night and I would come back home the next day. Renee would have removed it all.
Yeah.
I mean, my phone, I just keep my phone because it's got an alarm.
Sure. Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen to Sammy G. She says same to an extent. I have my chapstick, lotion, water bottle, a hair tie, but never food.
Yeah.
Which I'm right there with Sammy G.
Right.
Having food there, or like even worse, candy.
Oh my
or
goodness.
Something, no bueno.
Yeah. No. The bed needs to be your sanctuary for sleep, for intimacy, and maybe like for reading. Something that's restful, relaxation, that signals your brain that that's where that territory is, and that's what what happens there. Not that we're having a dance party on our beds.
One of our great commentators is Emperor Van. He says, if I was a psychologist, I would say this bed stacking is an early symptom of hoarding. That's pretty good.
I love it.
That's excellent.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we've dispensed with that one. Let's talk about this other story, though, which is they came out today and said, I guess it's part of a study, but they say drinking, health experts, drinking water first thing in the morning, even before your morning cup of coffee, which I bet a lot of people go straight for the morning cup of coffee, is highly recommended because you actually lose fluid while you're sleeping.
That's right.
I never really realized that.
Yeah, so through our breathing and through our sweating, naturally, through the course of the evenings, we have a level of dehydration when you wake up in the morning. Okay. So when you're starting your morning off with water, you're actually hydrating, you're replenishing. You're also signaling to your gut that, okay, it's time to wake up. We need to do a little bit more of a metabolism, like a little bit of a cleanse in a way. And you're boosting your brain as well. And we have cortisol levels that are already spiking in the morning once you wake up. So I always tell my patients that 90 minutes or more is the time that you should have your first cup of coffee upon awakening.
So you wake up, you go 90 minutes, and then you have your first
Ideally,
cup.
yes.
Well, they're going to be some grumpy people.
I know. And it's hard. So we try to train them, start it off with water. If you hate water, I'm sorry, add the lemon to it or something to it, and then we can extend it. So if you're used to having it right upon awakening, we can say, okay, give yourself 30 minutes, then 45 minutes, then 60, and just kind of gradually extend it.
What do you find helps during that 90 minutes? Let's say, you drink the water, and then what's next? What are some of the other things you can do? Because, it's hard to wake up. I guess take a cold shower or maybe jump on a bike or a treadmill or go for a walk.
Honestly, it's even as simple as just getting your morning sunlight. So just going on your patio, your balcony, just having that sun hit your face and getting that communication that it's time signaled wise for your brain to say it's okay, it's waking up time, and I need to start my day, and that's really the general signal.
Why 90 minutes? Why is that
so 90 minutes upon awakening is when your cortisol levels start to wean, so they start to drop, and that's when you want to drink your coffee. That's actually when you're going to get boosted with coffee. Otherwise, you're not really doing much at that first, if you're doing it upon first awakening.
Feel well until after like the third or fourth cup.
There you go.
Wow.
That's the topic of another conversation.
Now, Celeste, she gets up and she reads her Bible for a while. That should be enough, Celeste, put you in a good mood.
Right. I do. But if you're not careful, the book of John might put you to sleep. But we'll get to chapter 14, Ron.
Well, what about poor Job? I mean, that can be a long read.
You're not going to fall asleep. You're going to cry. But there is like something about, and for some people, I think for me included, there's almost like it's a morning ritual.
Yes.
Right? But I have heard that from so many doctors about doing like a lemon water or even like an apple cider vinegar with your water and lemon in the morning and then giving yourself time to like ease in.
Correct. And just, you're brushing your teeth, you have that morning cold shower, you're getting your day set up. I always have music on it in the morning. I'm just kind of giving my own self-care ritual and routine, but I'm always drinking water, mostly because I take vitamins in the morning as well. So you're downing water with that. And if it's just a little bit, then extend it to a whole glass, at least like a 6 to 8 ounce. And that will help your better energy and your metabolism. You'll feel like you're ready a little bit more and cleansed.
One of the other topics that I know you wanted to talk about today was it's almost in the I don't want to put words in your mouth, but almost like look good, feel good, let it boost your mood and also radiate more confidence. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I am a big proponent of dressing in your style and like dressing for your confidence, what you want to show emotionally for your day. Not that it's for other people, it's really dressing for yourself. Because what we wear, our brains sync to that. That's a psychological term called enclothed cognition. And what it means is really what you're wearing, what you're putting on your body is an extension of your emotions and how you're feeling about yourself. So if you're in a season of your life where, for example, you just started a new leadership role. Where do you want to be? How do you want to see yourself in that moment of your day and those trajectories of your day? If you're in a healing stage or a grief stage, how is it that you're feeling? It's not that you want to feel sad. It's that, okay, how can I change my emotion just based on what I'm putting on for myself, and kind of changing your routines and making it more of a self-care ritual in and of itself in the mornings too.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm sure you've suggested this to some of your many clients. Do they come back with feedback on it?
They do, actually. So we do things very progressively, because what I'm also asking is not to necessarily purge your closets, but also look at your closet as an extension of yourself, but don't let it be a museum of yourself. So if there's a lot of things that are
that's a good line.
So, things that you bought 3 or 5 years ago that are like, that was the old me, but I'm still going to hang on to it.
Are you saying that my ties from the 90s have got to go?
Possibly. Who was Ron in the 90s versus Ron in 2026?
Yeah, I'm way more with it now. Way more with it.
I will say, Ron, recently, the last few years, purchased a couple skinny suits, Mona.
Love it.
So
love that.
That really helped.
I am such a slave to fashion. You wouldn't believe it.
And that's the biggest thing too, is the fit. So if you're feeling like what you're wearing is something clunky, it's not you today, it's you of the past or yonder. I want you to represent who it is that you're striving for.
Well, we got 15 seconds left. How can people reach out to you?
They can go to my website, monaminimd.com. I'm on Instagram and all the platforms, and I'd love to see everyone.
I'm about to go through my closet at home today when I get home,
Okay.
Ron.
I'll wait till the weekend. Okay.
Mona, nice to see you.
Thank you again.
Thank
you for having me.
Okay.
And everyone, thank you so much for joining us in the chat and all the great ideas on those small towns all over Arizona and the country. Great, great stuff. So have a blessed day on this Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Great show, guys.
Love it.
Yeah, good stuff, Mona.
Thank you. So
Hi there.
Good Monday morning. Welcome on in. Another jam-packed show on this Monday.
Always. We like having jam-packed shows. We're going to go right out to Washington, D.C., is it? And this is right outside the courthouse this morning. The alleged, because he has not been found guilty, White House Correspondent Dinner shooter will be in court. And so we are waiting for a little bit more information. This was his initial arraignment.
Yeah, he has been identified as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen from California. He has been identified by sources as the suspect in that White House Correspondents Dinner shooting. And again, this is getting underway as we speak in D.C., so we're going to stay tuned. Again, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he is being charged with 2 federal charges. So we're going to be standing by to see if anything happens outside of that courthouse, if any attorneys will be coming out to speak. You do see that they do have that mic stand set up, so it does appear that we are expecting someone to come out and talk about what exactly happened in court.
We do know that there was a manifesto, there was information that was provided, that was found, but the last I heard was that the suspect was not talking. From Torrance, California, lived with his parents. There was a huge presence there, FBI essentially raiding the home over the weekend, trying to get a little bit more information and insight into exactly what led up to this. There was one injury. Secret Service officer was struck, had a ballistic bullet on a vest, and so is recovering. I think we were told he was that person was in the hospital, but the president, the vice president, the rest of the cabinet taken off the stage safely, but there were hundreds of people there.
So we want to bring in our next guest to kind of give some insight into this whole thing that happened over the weekend. Obviously, this is dominating the headlines. This is Mark Herrera. Good morning, Mike. Mark, did I say it wrong?
Yes. Hi, Mark.
Mark, hello. Thank you for joining us. Give us kind of your title and what you do.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me, and I'll answer to Mike. But as a former SWAT tactical sergeant and a security strategist I've trained thousands of event and venue personnel pretty much across the country. I've done about 527 training teams on how to protect all of their environments and all of their events, to include local, state, and federal agencies as well.
So the Secret Service getting a lot of praise pretty much from all levels, from the president to the correspondents who attended that event. Break down what you saw. We have some video. I think the video that a lot of people have seen is that one right there, where you see the man charging past these Secret Service agents, running at what appeared to be a very high speed through this barricade where the mags were located, not very far from the president in the ballroom. What are you seeing there? Was there a breach? Was there a problem? Or is that how you react to a situation like this?
Listen, first of all, I look at these incidents like this through the lens of layered protection and real-time decision-making. High-profile events such as this particular event, the White House Correspondents Dinner, they're critical events. They're high-profile events. They're secure. They're not secured by a single checkpoint, if that makes sense. They rely on a multi-layered system that includes outer perimeter, credential verification. It includes behavioral detection, intelligence monitoring, etc. Yeah, when I look at that video right there, that's a concern for me, because that individual had to get to that point, which means that pushing buffer zones just gives it a little bit more of a delay. There's no guarantee to zero risk, but if you push those buffer zones back with the proper individuals that are trained to understand the behavioral patterns, know how to interject to diffuse, they would have seen that coming way in advance. Kudos out to the Secret Service for protecting that inner perimeter. But there's 2 other rings that we also have to focus on. That's that second concentric ring and the third. Now, when I look at that video, which was in that second concentric ring, if you notice the hesitation of the officer when he backed up, by the time he deployed his weapon, that individual, that perpetrator, had already completely cleared that area. And there's the delay right there. So it's the dynamic breach of a checkpoint leaves it, people and teams are having to try to process what's going on. And unless they've been inoculated to those conditions, which is the training that we're currently doing all around the world, which is that predictive behavioral profiling, it's you've got to spot the threat before the threat even crosses over. Otherwise, it creates that delay and it causes that hesitation to response. And that's what you saw there was a rapid, dynamic situation involving a lone actor that, in my opinion, was probably testing the system. And again, no security plan assumes 0 attempts. So the goal is to immediately detect, to delay, and to respond quickly. I think there was a lack thereof on the second and third concentric ring, or yes. But that inner perimeter, kudos out, because it was protected. And there could have been mass casualties had he made it into the actual ballroom.
Anita mentioned at the top, but President Trump and the White House, this was a statement that Fox received from the White House saying that they are standing by the leadership of the Secret Service. However, Chief of Staff Susie Wiles is convening a meeting that'll be happening early this week to talk about kind of the White House operations team and going forward. I guess this is kind of, obviously they train, they prepare for any type of situation like this, but in a real world, you never know when something like this is going to happen and what type of obstacles they're up against. So what do you think will be kind of talked about when it comes to this meeting?
Absolutely. So first of all, let me just start from the back end there. You said you made a comment that was right on point, and that is you don't know how teams are going to react or respond to a condition even after they've been properly trained or even maybe inoculated to the condition in the past. Until they're involved in crisis, you don't know how they're going to respond. I've been involved in 2 major shootings, and with those major shootings, I've seen teams actually fall apart, and that's a concern. So you don't know how they're going to react, how they respond. The investigation is going to tell all. When they do a root cause analysis of the entire incident, they're going to look at all of the closed-circuit television, all of the cameras, any evidence that's out there that shows at what point did that individual make it into that from the third concentric ring, which is the parking lot into the hotel, from the hotel into the area where they had the last access control measure going into the ballroom. And maybe there was one more access control measure going into the ballroom, but they're going to backtrack this. And when they determine that, they're going to find out what worked, what didn't work, and where did it fail. And that's where now we have to come back and go, all right, there's 3 things that affect the response to those conditions, 3 things. And the biggest mistake is the over-reliance on static security measures. Doesn't work for a dynamic breach. When we're thinking about barriers such as this and checkpoints, they don't always solve the problem. There's security failures there can be. But the thing is the concern that you have at those checkpoints, if you don't have the right team in place, is the complacency. That's the number 1 threat. Complacency at the access control points. It's never happened today. It's not going to happen again. Lack of staff engagement or confidence to act. The breakdown in communication during a critical moment. How quickly can you start communicating that you have a potential threat within those 3 rings? That's what needs to be conveyed. That's what they're going to be looking at to determine what worked and what didn't work. And how can we do better on the next go around? Because if we think for 1 second that this type of political event is not going to be a breeding ground for high levels of vulnerability moving forward, then we're sitting behind the 8 ball, our heads are in the sand, and we've got to remove ourselves from that. We've got to protect the masses at the end of the day, not just the asset, but the people that were in that ballroom as well.
Great
Great job
insight.
Protecting them.
Great insight, Mark. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I know we'll be visiting back with you again as more information comes out on this. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. So Mr. Allen is facing 3 counts, including 2 federal gun crimes and attempting to assassinate the President of the United States, which could carry a penalty up to life in prison if he is convicted. So we will keep everyone posted on that.
All right, moving along here. We have our next guest joining us here in studio.
Hello.
Introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Rami Sibai.
So, Rami, give us a little idea. You started something. You're the co-founder and the director of Project Umbrella. So for people that don't know what Project Umbrella is, give us a little background about what that is.
Yeah, so Project Umbrella is a 501c nonprofit organization, and we work closely with the unhoused communities in a couple different cities across the United States. And our main goal is, honestly, not just to provide the unhoused communities with care packages packages and meals. While that's great, we like to go further more and kind of use them as an icebreaker into conversation and make people feel seen and heard again, because so many people that experience housing instability feel like they're no longer seen, no longer heard, and are just a number.
Tell us a little bit about the name Project Umbrella and how and why you started this.
Yeah, so Project Umbrella started out in New York, and obviously, we get some snow in New York, get some rain, and the weather gets cold, and then I moved out to Seattle for college at the University of Washington, and obviously there you have the rain as well.
You also need an umbrella.
So it all kind of clicked together, and it was a cool name, and we've gotten cool slogans along the way, like Project Umbrella, we've got you covered, so stuff like that comes along with it, but overall it kind of started off from the weather type of stuff.
So give us an idea of what you do on a day-to-day basis. We see these great images of you going out into the community and helping the unhoused community. What does it mean to you to be able to give back in this way, and why did you want to start doing this?
Honestly, it means the world to give back. Just the way I was brought up and raised in my household, and I'm a son of 2 immigrants, so for us going back home every summer, and seeing poverty and seeing it in real life, third world country stuff, and it gave me a really soft spot in my heart for giving, and my parents always kind of encouraged that growing up, and me and my brothers and my cousin have all started this nonprofit, and we've gone through it with it, and now it's expanded to having friends and family come out and join us as well. So
we have about a minute before we have to take a hard break. Tell us a little bit about the reaction that you get when you're out on the street. Yes, you're helping by providing food or maybe shelter, but as you said, there's one step past this.
Absolutely, and the reaction is actually it's different than what other people think. A lot of these people, when you go out on the streets, a lot of people get very nervous to come volunteer because they're never interacted with somebody that may be facing housing instability, and obviously they're in a very vulnerable state in their life. But the reactions are so positive, and we get so many connections and friendships that we build up upon month after month after month. So it's a really beautiful thing to see transpire.
Give us real quick, we got 15 seconds left, the website where folks can get more information about what you do.
Projectumbrella.org.
Awesome. Thank you.
Rami, thank you so much. It was nice to meet you.
Young man
Thanks for
making a
what
big
you're doing.
difference. Thank you.
Sure, right?
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to continue things rolling here on Fox 10 Talks. Louis saying we booked too many guests. Well,
but we try to get as many people in as we possibly can so that we can share all the information.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we've got more guests, Louis, so buckle up, buddy. Our next guest is waiting in Zoom here this morning. We have Chrissy Lawler. We're talking about vacations are coming up. People are traveling. They're away from home. They're not in their home bed. So sleep is not the same, right?
So true. So true.
Yeah, sleep can be so rough when we go on vacation, but we know that sleep is so important for every aspect of our physical and mental well-being. And so if we can preserve sleep on vacation or on business trips, you're going to have more fun. You're going to get along with your people. If it's a work trip, you're going to cope better. You're going to be sharp. So improving sleep while we're not in our regular bed is such an important thing to be able to master.
And I always think that when you're on vacation, you want to maximize sleep so that during the day you can pack as much in. And you mentioned too, if you're at a work conference, I mean, you've got to stay on top of your game too.
Yeah. So what do you do?
Yeah. What do we do? Help us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, if you're on vacation with your family or your partner, how many of us have been traveling and then you're just bickering the whole time. And what you remember of the vacation was how much we fought in Hawaii. That's not what we want.
Because we're not sleeping. You know it. You don't want to be crabby. So give us 3 tips then that we would find in your book that you share with people.
Yeah. So one of the most important things when we're on vacation is not to do other stuff in bed. So often, we're in a smaller hotel room. We don't have the same space. And so we sit on our bed to do phone calls, to check work emails, to be hanging out, eating meals. Keep the bed as a separate sleep space and do everything else somewhere else. The last thing you want to do is turn bed into the place where you work or stress or are doing, anything that's stressful.
That's a good tip for at home, too.
Yes. Very, very true at home. The other thing you can do is have some kind of an anchor. So it might be a fragrance. It might be a bedtime routine, your skincare routine that kind of helps your system wind down and know that sleep is coming. Something that you can bring from home. You can even bring your own pillowcase from home that smells like your laundry detergent so that you have that anchor that feels like your regular sleep space.
That's really interesting. I never even thought of that.
I do lavender essential oil.
Yep. Especially if it's one of those fragrances that has cued your brain to know that it's time to wind down now. And then the other big, huge part of it is just the mental game. So often we get in these loops where we say, I'm not a good sleeper when I'm away from home. I'm not going to be able to sleep well. And so if you can remind yourself, I'm away from home in this comfortable, luxurious bed, I'm going to sleep amazing tonight. Just that mental trick of telling yourself that you're going to be a great sleeper truly works.
That's really interesting. I'm going to start working. I'm going to do that all the time.
What if that hotel bed isn't comfortable though? It happens, unfortunately.
Then we might have to, do a warm shower before bed.
Oh, good idea.
You can incorporate other types of things in your bedtime routine.
I feel like sleep is one of those things that when you don't sleep well, it really can, ruin your day.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's so much data behind this. Sleep truly is the most important thing we can do for our baseline of mental and physical well-being. If we're not getting good sleep on vacation, we're more likely to get sick. We're more likely to crash when we get back home. Even the way that you perceive signals from other people, you're way more likely to take offense, start arguments if you're not sleeping well. So if you're traveling or on a business trip, really prioritize good quality sleep. It will make your whole experience better.
Tell us about your book before we let you go, Chrissy.
Yeah, it's called The Peaceful Sleeper, an intuitive approach to baby sleep. It's all about optimizing sleep in the first year of your baby's life, prioritizing your relationship and prioritizing your own sleep because sleep matters so much for family well-being.
Yes, it does. True. Thank you. We'll put all your info up so people can look you up. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Sweet
Chrissy,
dreams
thank
tonight.
You. All right, we're going to move it right along. You guys, we told you we had a jam-packed show. And one of our favorite guests is joining us here this morning. We have Lee from the Phoenix City Library. Good morning, Lee.
Last week was National Library Week. We tried to get you on last week, but everyone's kind of crazy. And then you guys have something really fun happening as well.
Oh, yeah. No, so last week we had lots of joy at the library, which we celebrate almost every day, but we really celebrated it last week. That was the theme of National Library Week, was find your joy at the library, which every day, every moment you can find
a lot of joy in the library.
That's right, yeah.
What are we talking about today, though? Because you guys have something kind of cool.
So we were really excited for those that are local to Phoenix, grew up here from like the 1950s forward, we issued a special edition Phoenix Public Library card celebrating the Wallace and Ladmo show, which was a local iconic children's programming show that was on from 1954 to 1989.
Whoa.
And many of us,
it spanned that long.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, yes. And we had over 500 people. I think there was more than that, but I can solidly say over 500 people came Saturday afternoon for our unveiling of the official card.
So neat. Let's see if we can get a better
here we
shot
go.
of that.
Hold it right
I love the
here.
black and white. I
And then we have
library
bookmarks.
card,
Look at
but
that.
I almost need to go back and get another one.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
we're going to zoom in on it. Which camera, Dave?
This one, here's one.
I'm good. Okay, hold on. Here we go.
What does it take, Lee, to get a
Oh, wait. It's this one. Sorry.
Which one? Okay, hold on. This one. No, this one. No, this one.
which one are we looking at?
You're really confusing the people now.
Oh, hold on. There we go.
Hey, there we go. Okay, let me see. Can we hold this up?
And this was a commemorative bookmark that was also, and it's available at all 17 of our library locations and our bookmobile officially today.
How often do you add new library cards?
We did not for a very long time. Prior to last late summer, the one that we did was before my time at the library, so a while ago. And then we issued a limited edition Leve, the Grammy artist Leve card last August. But then, we got to talking with Julia Taggart, who's the director of the Sunny Slope Historical Society, and a number of other, community members. And we thought, well, we really want to do a special edition Wallace and Ladmo show card, just because there is so much overlap. This show brought people so much joy over multiple generations, and it carries on. It's now been off the air longer than it was on the air, and we still, you say Wallace and Ladmo to a Phoenician, or even people that maybe didn't grow up here, but they've been here long enough, they know the association with the show, and it still draws people, and it still brings joy. And, so it made perfect sense for this to be something that could be found at the library.
Is this permanent, or will this be a special edition card?
It is a special edition card, but yes, it will be available going forward. So it's not a limited edition.
Got it.
Us librarians at the library, we love our words, but no, we will have this as an option for library card holders to choose if they want our standard issue card with our bricks, our typical look, or if they'd like to help us celebrate the show.
Lee, you're going to become like the Arizona Department of Transportation, where they have all the different license plates.
Maybe
you can choose your
Except
own
these
library.
are free. You don't have to.
Right,
that is very true.
Right.
You don't have to choose
and
the special edition.
when we consider now, we are entering a time where we're going to probably be have like a pool of options for issuing special edition cards. And when we consider that, we want to make sure that it's something that maybe is library program or resources adjacent. It's going to be something that touches a broad swath of the community. Something that kind of makes sense for the library to for people to find it at their library, as well as all the other great stuff that we offer. I am really excited to say, for those again that are familiar with the show, that everybody who signs up to get one of these cards from April 25th through May 31st will be entered into. They'll be entered to win one of 5 official Ladmo bags.
Oh, cool!
So the Ladmo bag, everyone who grew up with the show has a story. They either got a Ladmo bag or it haunts them that they didn't.
What was in it?
What is it? It's
you have to sign up.
You have to sign up and win one.
Louis Gonzalez says he remembers watching them in black and white in the morning before he went to school.
Yeah, it was on every day. It was a studio taped show. There was kids in the audience. Almost every, like many of us, and I'm one of those kids, have a Wallace and Ladmo story.
You do?
Oh yeah, I got to go on to the Wallace and Ladmo show.
You were on it?
Well, not on. I got to see a taping, but my younger sister, I went with my brownie troupe. She was little, like the littles got to go on stage and sit on stage, and each of them got a Ladmo bag, whereas the studio audience, there was only a couple of them given out, and I did not get one, but my sister did.
How jealous were you?
She did share. I was jealous, but my sister and I were very kind of like, we had a lot of overlap. We fought for sure, but we did more sharing and really, really close. But we were also so excited. I just have to say, I was so, Pat McMahon, who's one of the original cast members, was there.
You interviewed him not too long ago.
I did.
Featured prominently.
He was the parade marshal, right?
Yes.
In Fountain Hills, like 2 years ago.
I remember that.
And wow.
Yeah.
He's such a character.
He's so dynamic.
Yeah. So our event on Saturday really featured Pat, and we got a chance to hear, the whole audience got a chance to hear, a little bit of an intimate conversation, thanks to Richard Ruelas, who was with the Arizona Republic. They got to hear a lot of Pat's firsthand insight and memories, and it was talk about a lot of joy. There was a ton of joy throughout Burton Bar on Saturday.
Real quick, is there a way to watch these? Do they still have them anywhere? The show? Do you have it at the library?
I was going to say probably in the library.
Yes, you come search in our catalog and you can find access to parts of the show.
Oh, really?
About the show.
Oh, that is cool.
But CW7 on Cox does still air the show on Sunday afternoons. I think somebody will check me.
We'll fact check you.
Yeah, I think it's at 4:00 on Sunday afternoons on CW7 channels.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We have a minute left. Do you have to physically go into the library to get this, or can you apply for this card online?
You do need to get this actual physical card. Come visit us, and then you can also get a bookmark. And remember, between now and not March. I can't believe it's already the end of April. May 31st, everybody who signs up either has a library card and switches to this one, or they sign up for this one, will be eligible to win one of 5 Ladmo bags. But yeah, come visit one of our 17 locations, or if you see our bookmobile out somewhere, come visit us and get this card. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do it.
You are?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I have
no,
a
it's great.
Scottsdale card, though. Can I do that?
You can do both. You can do all of them. I always get
do both.
get all the library cards you can. All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
All right, Lee, we love when you come.
I know, and I can always come
Our
and talk
next
for
segment
hours.
will be summer reading, so make sure you give it some thought. In a couple weeks.
Yeah, May 1st. People can start signing up for that.
we go with a nice view over downtown Phoenix. We have a whole week in the 80s. Everybody panicked when we hit that 106 in March. But now, as we head into May, we're launching the 80s. We've got a couple days in the 10-day in the 90s, and then we're going to swoop on back down to the 80s. It's fantastic. Life in the Valley of the Sun is pretty good. Let's just pop up this camera right here. Look at that, would you? The Sequoia Parks Conservancy. Oh, wow. Hold on one second here. The King and Queen of England have just arrived. Look at this. We got the live pics coming in. Did they give us a heads up as to which airport? Checking with Dave. Oh, they get Joint Base Andrews. Oh, look. Matter of fact, there's Air Force 2 sitting right there on the tarmac. How about that? So, they had said it was going to be this afternoon, Des. Oh, this is really cool. You can see the dignitaries that are all there, all set, ready to meet Charles and Camilla. We're also being told to stand by the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, may be having a news conference regarding the attack on the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And so there's a lot going on. And when it's happening live, we like to take it. I didn't know if they would land at a military base like Joint Base Andrews, or if it'd be like, the Reagan Airport or Dulles, something like that.
I was going to say, where did you think they'd land?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was your pick?
Well,
it seems fitting. I mean, they're a king and queen.
Actually, yeah, now that I think about it,
security.
I don't know if these long-haul flights that come in from overseas can land at Reagan because it's a pretty short runway. So, yeah, it would have to be out at Dulles. Have you ever happened to fly in and out of Dulles Airport, Des? There in Washington. I mean, you got three options. You got Reagan, you got Dulles, and you got BWI. I like that Baltimore airport. But Dulles, you've already been on a long flight, and all you want to do is get off the plane and walk up the ramp and go get your bags. But oh no, not at Dulles. When they created this monster back in the 60s, they thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had people movers so that the planes could land, but people can't just get off and walk into the airport? They're going to shuffle into a people mover pod that's then going to kind of shuttle you across the tarmac over to the airport. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, that
Don't do
doesn't
it.
sound efficient.
I'm sure they thought, this is like, the future world
idea.
Or something.
Yeah, they dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, they did. Des, how's your day been? Anybody who got to have a day over at the Cleaverman Steakhouse is having a pretty good day, if you ask me.
Yeah. It's prime rib day, so they were showing us how they do their prime rib. Dry aged.
Yes.
So the flavor's a little different.
Yes.
Yeah, slow roasted. And you get a 12-ounce cut. So, yeah, we were over there. And they're also doing a Mother's Day brunch. So that's something that they don't do brunch typically. So, yeah, that's also coming up. So you just make reservations if you want to do the brunch.
That was the reason you were there, was for the Mother's Day brunch. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
good.
Yeah.
So is anybody going to be treating you to a Mother's Day brunch, or is it too early to know?
It's, probably too early. But, yeah, that would be a no. I don't want my husband to, don't spoil me too much.
Okay. All right. Fine. There are some great places for brunches here in the Valley. I will just say that. And, Mother's Day is quite amazing.
Are you already thinking, what am I going to do for Renee?
You know what's funny is we're going to be out of town that weekend.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm not quite sure if it's going to work out, but I think I have these two beloved aunts. I always jokingly say they're the two people in the world that still can call me Ronnie, because that's what they called me when I was a little kid. My Aunt Jeannie and my Aunt Jessie. I think we're going to go up to Seattle, but I think we might go see my Aunt Jeannie.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
For sure. I'll keep you up to speed on that. All right. So we have some great stories all lined up for you guys. Do you see Dave?
David, I know. I wish I could have got the camera out.
You
changed that camera shot on the fly.
Have you been doing deep knee bends, Dave?
Teamwork, man. We love it here.
It makes the dream work, but I swear I saw you doing the crab walk
I was.
Here.
I just didn't want to interrupt your
Oh, what's that, Dave? You didn't what?
I said I didn't want to interrupt your incredible conversation.
Yeah, we had a flow going. We did. But Dave, you know what Dave just did? He just moved this camera perfectly.
Yes, thank you, Dave.
There you go. Anyway, so you go to college and you're dreaming big dreams. Did I ever tell you about the time I wrote a letter to Tom Brokaw when I was in college?
No.
Because I thought, you got a good job there. Because back in those days, he was doing the Today Show on another channel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever heard back from him. But I was like, what kind of advice?
Not even a, hey, I read it?
No.
Wow.
But I had written a letter to the #1 morning radio host in Seattle on KIRO radio. And he wrote me back the nicest letter. And I literally, when I was a kid growing up, I put it right on my bulletin board.
Oh, my God.
In my bedroom.
And look at that. Look at your career.
The last line was something like, best of all, don't stop working till you become the best radio announcer in the world. And I'm like, I'm going to do it.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so cool.
A guy named Bill
You still
Yent.
have that letter?
I'm
somewhere?
pretty sure I do. I know I have a picture of it on my phone.
Oh, cool.
I'll go find it.
Oh my
I'll show it
gosh.
to you
Yeah,
tomorrow.
You'll have to show us the letter.
Anyway, so you go to college, and this new report shows that at least 20%, maybe more, regret maybe not so much the college experience, because I think we all loved going to college, but the major they chose. They studied things like political science, communications, media studies, and now they're wishing they had. They look around and they think that big jobs are like in chemical engineering, and where your expertise is physics, or any level of engineering. Those people make
You would
well.
think if you come out with a physics degree, you got to be doing pretty good.
I think
the
so.
Hope would be.
Right.
But I wonder, if you look at, because political science, communications, physics, chemistry, I mean, it's not all just one industry, it seems. And we were talking about this with the rest of our staff in the morning meeting. Is that a reflection of maybe the job market right now? How tough it is for college grads to land a job that maybe they're thinking, I made the wrong choice here.
I think you're right. And I think that, for years and years, people were like, be a software engineer. That's the future. And now AI is literally destructing parts of the software industry. Some of those software stocks in the stock market are down like 50% now that people realize what AI can do. There'll probably still be a lot of jobs there, but it's a little uncertain. Yeah. What was your major?
Communications.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah, journalism.
Yeah. I actually thought I was going to get into the management sphere. So I thought, okay, well, I'll be, on the air for a few years, and then I saw the headaches the managers have to deal with. No, thank you.
Never mind.
Okay, look, let's get right to your story today, Des. You worked on this extensively. Why don't you set it up for the audience?
Yeah, well, let's get right to it. It's new technology being used at UCP of Central Arizona, helping babies with cerebral palsy become more mobile. Take a look.
So this is the size for Santi, so we'll bring him over.
The first step in a therapy session with the baby G is picking the right harness size.
I want things to be pretty snug.
Brittany Londabasso is a pediatric physical therapist at United Cerebral Palsy of Central Arizona.
He has made a lot of progress in the baby G very quickly.
She's been working with 9-month-old Santiago and his mother Samantha for a few months. He's learning how to roll over, crawl, and pull to stand using robotic technology behind the Baby G system.
The Baby G is a 3D body weight support system that allows us to work on developmental milestones with kids. It was created for early mobilization.
According to UCP of Central Arizona, cerebral palsy is the most common motor disability children have.
He's happy. He's screaming all day, every day. He loves his sister. He's obsessed with his sister, and his sister's obsessed with him.
And even through the family's joy, Santiago's mom noticed signs that his mobility was off.
Around 2 months, I noticed that he wouldn't turn his head to the right side. Also, I noticed the rest of his left side, he wouldn't untuck his arm, he wouldn't unfist his hand. He wasn't really, his left side toes were always curled up, and he wasn't really moving anything. And then once he got to holding toys and stuff in his hands, he wasn't holding anything with his left.
Londabasso says cerebral palsy is a motor disorder caused by brain damage that affects the communication from the brain to the muscles.
It can affect your arms, your legs, both one side of your body, both sides of your body, depending on where that damage occurred.
The Baby G is for small children between 12 and 50 pounds. The harness system helps take off body weight while the child is guided through movement.
This is how much is already taken off automatically, is that 2 pounds. So it's about 11% of his body weight.
She took off a little more and adjusted the tracking cloud.
It's going to move right over him. And now he can move all within this 10 by 10 frame.
Almost immediately, Santiago took his first crawl.
I gotta get you to keep your knees down now. There we go.
He does it here, and then I bet you once we get home, he's just gonna start doing it.
During this session, he kept doing it.
You see it spinning? Come get it.
Motivated by his mommy and, of course, some fun toys with guidance from Londa Baza, he kept crawling.
I found Santi.
And this little cutie wasn't done there. He wanted to show our camera crew all he could do, including stand.
There you go. Nice.
Until this point, the Baby G has only been used for research. This is the only space in the world it's being used in a therapy setting. For Samantha and Santi, it's been life-changing.
He wasn't rolling, he wasn't sitting up, and so I feel like I've noticed him rolling now, sitting up, to him crawling, trying to stand now, so it's a big difference.
As a therapist, it's amazing. I get to see them be brave and confident and work on things that maybe outside of the Baby G are too challenging at the time. So it really changes how I do my treatment.
He's a really happy baby, I don't know, he brightens my day.
Baby Santi was so adorable. So yeah, it's just really exciting new technology that they have available at UCP. They have another one. It's called Zero G, but that's for older children or younger adults because it takes off more weight. So essentially, the technology kind of existed, but it wasn't for babies because this the Baby G can take off a pound or a lot less weight. So
which is amazing that even a pound can make that much of a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And the therapist said if you get them young, under the age of 3, the brain can learn to rewire itself and increase their mobility tremendously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great story, Des. Oh, that was fantastic. Hey, break time. It's Mystery Camp time. Then we've got a great guest coming up, Dr. Willie Jolley. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we do the Mystery Cam every morning at 11:45. We have a guest guesser. I'm just going to recruit you in right now. It's Willie Jolley. He's our great guest here for the next 15 minutes. And you have traveled pretty much to, towns large and small across America. Look at that camera right there.
Okay, yeah.
And you give us your guess as to where you think that is. We're getting everything from Indiana to Oklahoma to Minnesota from our audience.
Where would that be? Where would that be? It's flat, so it's not in any mountainous area.
Right. Surprising how many states are flat.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it until we started doing the mystery cam.
You know what? It looks like to me Iowa.
Okay.
Iowa. I've spoken all over the country. I was on the Get Motivated tour for many years, and so I was able to go to many cities. I replaced Zig Ziglar when he died. So that reminds me of Iowa, that little building in the corner there. Or it might be a part of Wisconsin or Minnesota.
Yeah.
So one of those come to mind.
Yeah, there's two guesses from Minnesota in the chat. Linda, good guess. Louis is now guessing Minnesota as well.
Willie, you'll find this fascinating. I pick a different state every year and take a vacation just to that state.
Oh, wow.
Drive all around the whole state.
Yes.
Get to know, every town I possibly can. And I thought Minnesota, which was the state that I drove around last year. So
Minnesota, Iowa, or Wisconsin.
Come on.
I don't know. I'll just go with a little philosophy, Indiana, because I really don't.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Here she comes, everybody, on the desk cam.
Oh, it is Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Oh, really? We had no Michigan guesses.
No Michigan.
There's Kalamazoo, a town we've all heard of.
We have heard of Kalamazoo. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, we better get to our interview because we are standing by for this big news conference coming up here.
And we want this good advice that
we do.
Dr. Jolley is bringing us today.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk just a little bit about it here. You have a book out now. The book is called Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better.
Good, Wealthy is Better. So most people in America know me for my book, A Setback is a Set Up for a Comeback, which became a global bestseller and then turned setbacks into greenbacks, became a bestseller, then an attitude of excellence, and then it only...
Too fast with it.
It only takes a minute to change your life. And then I want one I wrote with my bride called Make Love, Make Money, and Make It Last. How you like that? Do you like that? All right, and so we're newlyweds, by the way. We're newlyweds. We wrote a book as newlyweds. June 28th, we'll celebrate 41 years of marriage. And so we wrote the book just to help people, encourage them, and help them with their marriages. We've been married for 40 years. Haven't had an argument in 38 years.
You're lying.
Yeah, it's the truth. And we were on a Today Show, and someone said, "You never had an argument?" I said, "I didn't say that. I said we haven't had an argument in 38 years." Those first couple years were like World War III. but we learned some wise principles from some wise mentors. We put what we learned in the book, and it saved a lot of marriages. So I encourage people to go to jollymarriage.com and get some of the free chapters and free tips, and also go to jollymarriage.com and see our TED Talk on how to never ever argue, because there's a system.
And we're going to talk money in a minute, but now you've got me intrigued.
Right.
The one piece of marriage advice you give.
Yeah, the one piece is friends first.
Okay.
That's the first thing, is friends first. People get married for all sorts of reasons. Somebody looked good, they had a lot of money, they had a fancy car. But the marriages that win and last are people who really like being with each other.
Hang on one second. We have the King and Queen of England.
They're
just arrived.
They're coming down the steps.
Everybody.
Well, I'm in D.C., so they're coming to D.C. today.
Yeah, they are.
And so Prince Charles and Camilla are coming to D.C., and there's going to be a big, brouhaha in D.C. Everybody, and the streets will be shut down as they travel through the city. So, this big deal for the Prince and
the King now.
That's right, the King and his wife to come and celebrate our 250th, which is a big deal, and I'm very excited about it. Yeah, very excited about it.
We have this show that we do. We're on YouTube right now.
Okay.
So this other YouTube show called The Great American Story, and we're counting down the 10 biggest stories in American history.
Wow, that's fantastic.
In 250 years, and there's some great ones.
That's right.
Some hard ones, some hard lessons to learn. But I wanted to ask this question.
All right.
How can you change your life in a minute?
Yeah. The minute, okay, I wrote the book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. And the book is based on, I have a daily 1-minute motivational message that's syndicated. I'm also on Sirius XM. But the 1-minute message, I basically tell people, the minute you make a decision and act on it, you change your life. Now, many people will make a decision. 2 little birds sitting on the telephone wire. One of them decides to fly away. How many little birds you got left? 2. Why? Because until you act on your decision, nothing really happens. So the minute you make a decision and move in a new direction, you change your life. You might not reach your destination in a minute, but the minute you move in a new direction, you change your life.
Why is it so hard for people to do that?
Because
a
people
lot of people are dreamers.
Yeah, well, because they think it, they talk themselves out of it, and they say, well, maybe later. They procrastinate or they talk themselves out of it, and then they don't act on it. And fear sometimes takes over. Lack of confidence sometimes takes over. So what my job is as a professional speaker and a motivator is to encourage people to act on it, jump and grow wings on the way. And that's what I did. Look, you offline, we were talking, and I said, I'm here for a friend Jim Rohde's 90th birthday, and I'm going to speak and sing at his little celebration for him. And you said, I'm a singer. Well, I was a nightclub singer who won all the awards in Washington, D.C. for Best Jazz Singer, Best Entertainer, and I got replaced by a karaoke machine in the time of the karaoke craze. Because they said, we love you, but it's something cheaper that's going around the country. And I was devastated. What am I going to do for a living? I got a wife and children. And I took a job while I was trying to figure it out with the D.C. public school system as a drug prevention coordinator. And from there, I started speaking more conferences and teachers groups and more things. And Les Brown, the great speaker, and Gladys Knight heard me speak and invited me to be on tour with them as the opening act. Wow. And that exposed me to media as well as to corporate groups. I got a little radio show. It got syndicated. And then XM, now I have the #1 self-help show in the country on XM. Publishers started calling saying, we like your ideas. You ever thought about writing a book? So I got all these books now, all because I took an action.
Wow.
When you act and move on it. So this new book is probably the biggest one. Now, Setback Set Up for a Comeback, which talks about that story of being fired and replaced by a karaoke machine. Sold millions of copies around the world. But this book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, is going to be the biggest one yet. From the pre-responses, the early responses, people are buying it in droves. And let me tell you why.
And what do you mean about being rich is good, wealthy?
That's it.
How do we become wealthy then if we're working,
first of all,
9 to 5?
Well, first of all, is that I've been on XM for 20 years. This is my 20th season, interviewing people like Bill Marriott, David Rubenstein, Bob Johnson, Sheila Johnson, one billionaire after billionaire, thinking I knew what wealth was because I'm the host of the Wealthy Way show. But one day that light bulb, that imaginary light bulb we all know about, went off above my head. I finally get the difference between being rich and wealthy. I figured I was the only one who didn't know. I missed the memo. So I ran around the country speaking. I'd ask people, what's rich to you? #1 answer, $1 million. Okay, if rich is $1 million, what's wealthy? They'll look, they'll ponder, they'll look up in the air, and they'll say, I guess 5 million, 10 million, $1 billion. And I realized they didn't know either. That's when I went back to those billionaires and said, here's my theory about being rich and wealthy. Am I right? You're absolutely right. And most people don't know what it is. And most people have the capacity to become wealthy and don't know it. So I started writing the book. So 2 years later, the book is out. It's blowing up. Let me tell you what the difference is between being rich and wealthy. Before I tell you, let me give you a story. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio about a month ago. I'm at a fancy restaurant with my client, and one of the star players from the Cleveland Browns walks by. And my friend, the client, knows him. Come over, you got to meet Dr. Willie Jolley. The young man comes over with his fur and his jewelry and his bling, and he says, Dr. Willie Jolley teaches people how to be wealthy. The young man says, I'm already wealthy, but I guess I can learn how to learn how I can get more wealth. He said, give me a card. I gave him a card. He and his entourage, all these people, left. When he left, I said to my client, that young man thinks he's wealthy. he's rich, which is good. The owner's wealthy. See, that young man comes to the stadium on Sunday. He pads up. He goes out on the field. He runs. He jumps. He sweats. He gets tackled. And then at the end of the day, he leaves. He's kind of beat up, but he goes home. Hopefully, he has a net worth of at least $1 million left. The owner never left the owner's box. He didn't sweat. He didn't run up and down the field. He didn't get tackled. And when he left, he had a net worth of over $1 billion. And when that young man is no longer productive or gets hurt, the owner's going to replace him with another one. So here's the secret. Yeah. Rich and wealthy. Rich is a result of money you earn from what you do. Where if you do it well, people will pay you more money. Wealthy is a result of money you generate from what you own. Let me say it again. Rich is money you earn from what you do, typically during the day. Mm-hmm. Wealthy is money you generate from what you own while you sleep. That was a big, ooh, wow. And so...
So how do we get something that we own?
Okay, so many people... many people say, well, I can't get wealthy because I don't make enough money. Not true. In the book, I give a chapter, there's a whole chapter on people who were not high income earners who became wealthy. The most profound is Mary Ellen Pleasant. She was a domestic worker in the 1900s. She would clean people's homes, never made more than $6,000 per year. But when she died, she had a net worth of $2.7 million. Why? She did two simple things. She made money, which we all do if we work, but she lived below her means and invested the difference. That's the secret. You must live below your means and invest the difference. So in the book, I give example after example, and I tell people that money is something that can grow if you understand how money works. So I've got fundamentals.
Less than a minute.
All right. So I want everybody first to go to winwithwillie.com. Winwithwillie.com. Get some of the free stuff that we offer. We got lots of free stuff. Then I want you to go to Rich is Good, wealthyisbetter.com and get the book. Now, this book has 2 focus areas. 1, okay, 10, all the people who want to be wealthy, but 2 is all the people who have children they're concerned that children are going to squander the money. This is the good.
Wealthyisbetter.com.
Rich is good, wealthyisbetter.com, baby. That's it.
I love it. Thanks, Willie.
Come see us again.
I will.